Students, in this video we are going to see about the TCP flow control. We said the other functionalities of TCP is flow control, congestion control. In this video we are going to see how the flow control is going to work with the help of the TCP. So what is flow control? If the process through which we are going to control the rate of the sender as well as the receiver, so that the data will not be lost at the buffer. That is nothing but flow control. If I keep on sending the data and the receiver is unable to get all the data whichever I have sent, the receiver speed is less but the sender speed is high, then what will happen? The data will be lost. So in this process, or in this using this protocol, that is TCP protocol, we are going to find the methods how can we control the flow, control the rate of data flow at the sender as well as the receiver to match with both the sender and the receiver speed, so that we can avoid the data loss at the buffer. If the receiver cannot receive all the data, if see the sender is sending 50 words or 50 bytes of data at per second, but the receiver can receive only 40 bytes of data per second, then what should be done now? We have to reduce the sender speed to 40 so that the data will not be lost. If the same rate is preserved or maintained by the sender, that is 50 bytes of data per second, but the receiver speed is only 40 bytes of data per second can be received, then what will happen to the remaining 10 bytes? It will be lost. It will be lost at the buffer, receiver's buffer. That's why we have to go with the flow control mechanism, which will regulate the speed at which the sender is sending and the receiver is receiving, so that the data will not be lost. Okay, so the receive side of the TCP connection has a receive buffer. So how we are going to control the data flow at both the sides, that is sender and the receiver side, is with the help of the buffer. So see here, IP datagram, currently unused buffer space, TCP data, then it goes to the application process. This application process may be slow at reading from the buffer. Sometimes what happen, as I said, the application process may not be so fast to receive the data from the buffer. So what should be done in that case? Flow control, sender won't overflow receiver's buffer by transmitting too much. As I said, if I send 50 bytes of data but the receiver buffer can accommodate only 40 bytes, then what will happen? The remaining 10 bytes of the data will be lost. Speed matching service. TCP flow control is nothing but speed matching service. So what happens here? Matching send rate to the receiving application's drain rate. That's what I said. Yes, TCP flow control, how it works. Yes, suppose TCP receiver discards out of order segments, then unused buffer space, that is receive window, is equal to receive buffer minus last byte received minus last byte read. So the receiver buffer minus receiver window size is nothing but receiver buffer minus last byte received. Last byte received is, see, 50 bytes of data is sent, 40 bytes of data is sent, we'll assume. Okay, so in that 20 bytes has been read by the application layer. So how many bytes will be there now? So 20 bytes will be there. Receive buffer size is 80 bytes, we will assume. So 80 minus 20 will be, that is receiver window size will be now 40. Clear? Last byte received is nothing but the bytes received minus last byte read, that is it is taken or drained by the application. How many bytes of data has been received by the application layer is nothing but last byte read. Okay, how many bytes I received, how many bytes are taken or read by the application layer or sent to the application layer. So 80 bytes, see, I am getting 40 bytes of data. In that 20 bytes are already consumed or taken by the application layer, so remaining 20 bytes are there. In the receiver window, what will be there now? So whatever is the receiver buffer size, I said 80 minus 20, that is 60 will be the receiver buffer, receiver window size now. Okay, that is unused buffer space is called receiver window. Clear? Okay. Next, receiver advertises unused buffer space by including receiver window value in the segment header. So we said we have to find some ways to control the flow, data flow. So what I am going to do is I will advertise the unused buffer space. What is my unused buffer space? As I said, the receiver window size will be my unused buffer space. What is that? As we said already, if 80 is the receiver buffer size, 80 minus 20, that is 80 minus 20 is nothing but 60. Now the 60 is the value. Okay. So the 60 will be advertised. The value called 60. 60 bytes is the unused buffer space. This is what I am going to advertise. How I am going to advertise? By adding this value in the segment header. Okay. That we saw, right, in the TCP segment header. Receiver window size was there, right? There I will be putting this value, that is 60. Clear? Okay, next, sender limits the number of unacknowledged bytes to receiver window. So that now what will happen, seeing this value, the sender will limit the number of unacknowledged bytes to the receiver window, guarantees receiver's buffer doesn't overflow. With the help of this value, the sender will reduce or regulate the rate at which the data is sent at the sender. Yes, next is connection management. So with the help of the buffer and the receiver window size, advertisement of the receiver window size value, the sender will regulate or reduce the speed of the data transfer so that the data will not be overflowed at the receiver's buffer. This is how we are going to control the data flow at the sender as well as the receiver to avoid the data loss. Next we are going to see the TCP connection management. Yes. So how it involves three things. One is connection establishment, and the second process is data transfer, and the third one is connection termination. Okay, TCP connection management involves three processes. Once again I am repeating. One is connection establishment, second one is data transfer, and the third one is connection termination. Yes, TCP sender and the receiver establishes connection before exchanging data segments. This is called connection establishment. So initialize TCP variables, sequence numbers, buffer, flow control, everything it is going to initialize, and it creates the socket as we saw in the previous videos. It creates the socket with the port number. Then server also creates the socket, welcome socket first it has to create. As we said, we have two types of socket. Two sockets has to be created at the TCP in the server. Why? One is for welcoming and the other is for the data transfer. Okay. So if you take the first process, that is connection establishment, we will be having three steps in it. One is first, as a client, see I am the client and this is the server. First I have to send the TCP send segment to the server, that is TCP send segment to the server. Then for this the server will be, if server is free, then it will be giving TCP SYN acknowledgement. SYN acknowledgement will be sent by the server to the client. Now it has to again confirm that it has received a TCP, that is SYN acknowledgement. So it is again sending the acknowledgement. This is acknowledgement, this is SYN, and this is SYN acknowledgement. So these are the three steps involved in the TCP handshaking or connection establishment process. Clear? So first client should send the SYN signal or SYN segment. Then the server will be sending, if it is free, it will be sending SYN acknowledgement, for which the client will reply with the acknowledgement. Once these steps are over, then the connection will be established between the client and the server. Clear? Next, we move on to the next